One, we are live. Hello and welcome to Cricket Adda presents Cricket Addicts Season 2, Episode 7. As we all know, Episode 7 is always special for a reason. And we will start with something historical. We were supposed to start with something historical, but I think Stark has done something even more historical yesterday. But let's start with that. First of all, I'll introduce the panelists. Kevin, as always, is back on the panel. Shabby was with us last podcast as well. And then Amrit joins us after a long time. Obviously, the podcast wasn't going for a long time. So Amrit wasn't there last week. He was a bit busy, but he's back. Amrit, hi, how are you? A lot of test cricket, and that's what excites people like us, isn't it?
Yes. By the way, episode 7, and we are starting at 7 7 in India. So, थाला का आशीर्वाद रहेगा अपने साथ.
Hopefully, we also get 7,000 plus views on this episode. That's a quite go. That's
Yes.
quite ambitious. But Kevin, let's start with you. Your favorite fast bowler Mitchell Stark did create history, but before that, let's go a week before in Darwin, Bangladesh winning their first ever Test match in Australia on just the third attempt. What were the views overall? Because there are a lot of questions, but let's start with Bangladesh first of all. It was quite spectacular the way they played. First of all, getting Australia bowled out under 200, and then the way they batted. Tanzid Hasim Tamim, and then even Mushfiqur Rahim scoring crucial runs, whether it was Mominul Haq scoring that crucial runs, and then the captain Najmal Shanto putting in that partnership with the opener. Just old school proper test match batting where they batted for 138 overs, if I'm not wrong. Asked the Australian bowlers to keep coming back, took on Nathan Lyon, which meant Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood had to bowl over 25 overs. And that's something which England couldn't do last year in the Ashes. But fantastic from Bangladesh, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, I agree. Traditional schoolboy cricket over there from Bangladesh, and they played like a team. There were no big names over there. If you saw that side, the only experience came from Mushfiqur Rahim, and you had a bit of from Liton Das, who's not that well established in Tests, but still he has much more international exposure. But they played like a team, and pure schoolboy, pure traditional cricket. I keep saying schoolboy because of the Bangladesh. The team is pretty young, but traditional cricket. They hung in there. They made every opportunity count, and I'm very happy and proud for them because they did something that Sri Lanka, Pakistan have not been able to do. And this was the best Australian team that they could put together. It wasn't like they were missing out on some star players. This was their A team, and we've always discussed it with Australia also. They've kept pushing, they've kept persisting with the same team again and again and again, and now they have this unfortunate record where the top five losses involving a team where one bowling unit has less than I think 1,000 wickets. That has Australia, and the common point between all of this is that the 2021 India team, 2024 India team, the I think there was the Bangladesh team and the West Indies team. All four teams that beat Australia had the same bowling lineup of Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, and Lyon. So it's there's something for Australia to think about and ponder. But Bangladesh is going to cherish this victory for the next 5 to 10 years, because what they've done and what they've achieved is going to make their nation proud. And especially what happened with them, they boycotted the T20 World Cup, and they could have they wouldn't have been able to make it to the playoffs, but they always compete. And to miss out on that and then go to Australia and to deliver such a big victory, it's commendable.
Yeah, absolutely. Shabby, if you can join in here, let's talk about the bowlers as well. We talked about the batting, but Hassan Mahmood 6 for 55, 3 for 56. Make no mistake, Nahid Rana, their fast bowling superstar, is missing from this test series, not test match, from this test series. And he is exciting, bowls 145 clicks. And everybody was excited to see him in Australia, but unfortunately, he is not there. Hassan Mahmood took 9 wickets, and then Mehdi Hassan Miraz, one of my favorite cricketers from way back in 2016 when he made his test debut at home against England. And he was fantastic, 65 in that first innings, and then taking up a 5 wicket haul. And some of the veteran spinners like Ashwin or the big spinners like Harbhajan Singh haven't managed to take a 5 wicket haul in Australia, but Mehdi Hasan Miraz, off spinner from Bangladesh, does it, and he picked up big wickets. Make no mistake, whether it was Steve Smith, Alex Carey, all those big wickets in his 5 wicket haul, and it was a fantastic bowling performance. Tight lines, tight lengths, just keeping it wicket to wicket, and they did the job. 57 was the target, and they did it quite easily towards the end. But the bowlers set it up, especially in the first innings. It was Hassan Mahmood, wasn't it, Shabby?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was one of the shocker victory by Bangladesh there, and definitely a team performance, as Kevin already said, that they played as a team. Talking about the spinners or the pacers, both contributed in each of the innings, and also I need to talk about the batting because they crossed 400. I was checking the scorecard earlier that they crossed 400 in the first inning, and that's where the difference came up. The huge lead that they got within the first inning. That's what mattered eventually, because during the fourth inning, even the target of 150 or 200 might have been tricky for Bangladesh. That always happens with India as well. Never chase the target of more than 150, but the huge lead they got in the first innings definitely turned out to be productive, and that's why they got such a small target in the fourth innings. So definitely, I think Tanzim Hassan, the Tanzim Hassan scored a century in the first inning, and overall team performance that made them cross 400. I mean, that was also one of the important part of the victory, I feel, and definitely the bowling part, getting out Australia cheaply for in the first inning and the second inning also below 300. I also commendable effort. So yeah, I mean, great victory. The only worry that I have now that the condition their condition in the second test currently, that they have definitely went back to the old original Bangladesh ways, at least in the first innings, that getting all out for such a low score, seeing a double digit score. So let's see. I mean, this test match is still on. Or Oz doesn't have a huge lead as of now. So let's see if they can still fight back in this test. If not win, but at least that fighting attitude should be seen what they achieved in the first test. I think that's what we are hoping.
Yeah, Amrit, I was going to come to Australia asking a lot of questions about their team because Kevin mentioned that those four bowlers, whether it's Cummins, Hazelwood, Stark, and Lyon, and are they they are obviously towards the end of their careers, especially Stark and Hazelwood. And Hazelwood hasn't played a test for a while. I think he played two against India in 2024, missed the whole Ashes in 2025, and then came back here, but he played the two IPLs in between, which RCB fans will definitely like. But I was going to ask, like, what Australia can do here with their batting as well. By the way, four people have joined us, so if anybody has any questions, do put it in the comments. They again have made a change in their batting now. Jake Weatherall, who played six test matches, got around 20, average of 20 is dropped. They bought in Matt Renshaw. He has got out for a low score yesterday. What this Australian team can do? I know they are in a really good position for this test match, 64, but it's primarily down to Mitchell Stark. At the age of 36, picking up 6 for 12 in 10 overs. That was a fantastic spell. But how do you look at this Australian side? Do you think they don't have enough good players apart from the ones in their 11, 12 maybe? You don't see any openers. Kevin was putting it on our group as well that after maybe Warner, Khwaja, they haven't really found anybody. Now, Travis Head went from number 5 to opening. Is it like a full time role for him now, or are they finding somebody? Sam Constance played a couple of tests against India, then played three in West Indies, couldn't do anything. He was dropped. How do you look at this Australian side? Even Smith and Marnus, especially Smith, is not getting younger, and Marnus hasn't scored any runs.
Yeah, primarily what we see is that the batsmen are not, the batsmen did not apply themselves. They gave their wickets away, right? Especially the openers, we haven't seen a consistent pair across the last few test matches. There has been consistent, changes. Travis Head being promoted, and then, Usman Khwaja, he's no longer there, in the scheme of things. And now Weatherall, he has been dropped for the second test. So they need to really back someone, from their talent pipeline, and go with them for a considerably longer period of time. Uh, Secondly, Marnus, he has been one of the weaker points since the last few series, and that is a key point of decision whether you still want to, look at him going forward or you want to replace him. Uh, so that is, I'm not sure if there is any, middle order batsman that they have who can replace him. Uh, on the other side, I think Smith and Cam Green, they have been carrying the batting so far, even in the last test and even in the test that is going on. Uh, Cam Green, especially having scored 100 uh, in the last match and a 50, both in very challenging conditions. That should be seen something as a positive by Australia. Uh, so yeah, few points to debate on, to kind of go back to the drawing board, and few positives that they should continue to build on maybe.
Kevin, just quickly also on their bowling, Stark definitely delivered in this test match, but even the backups, you have Scott Boland, Michael Neser, those are not like young guys. We are not seeing young Australian players coming through. What do you think about the Australian team going forward? Because they have 20 test schedule in 12 months. They have these two. They have three or four against New Zealand. They go to South Africa. Then obviously play that one-off test against England. Five in India for the BGT, and then the Ashes next English summer. So a lot of tests lined up, and then there's an ODI World Cup after that. So these fast bowlers can't play all the tests, and the backups, as we all know, are Scott Bowl and Michael Neser. How do you look at it? Do they need to get someone in? Even Nathan Lyon. Who is Nathan Lyon's backup? Is it Todd Murphy? Because he has hardly played Test cricket. He will play maybe the five tests in India, but apart from that, he hasn't played, especially in Australia, where it's difficult for a spinner to get wickets.
I wish I had the answer to that question. And this is a question that we've all experts have been asking and looking for since I think 2023, but I don't see. And this situation that Australia has managed to find themselves in is going to be worse than 2007, when after the Ashes that they won 5-0, you had Warren McGrath, you had Lanka, and you had Damien Martin all quit, and the next year you had Gilchrist and Hayden fade away. So this time this is going to be different because you're looking in a situation where Travis Head is your only batter, and Cam Green is the only rising player that you have, and besides that there's nothing. To Nathan Lyon, they're reluctant to drop him. It's unfortunate, but he's not been delivering. He's since I think the BGT, he's been on a decline.
I
I
think
think
it's
even
also about the pitches, right? The pitches have been seam bowling friendly for a long time in Australia now.
yes, but you still expect
Yeah, I mean, I
your
agree.
bowler to.
Nelson Mira has picked up a 5 wicket also. You expect better returns from Lyon. Yeah.
Exactly, and because Lion has done it in the past, if Lion didn't have the capability, we would never have questioned it. But he has been able to do this in the past. So, and when you see another spinner who's never played in Australia, come in and take 5 wickets, there's a problem. Now it can be argued that the batting, Aussie batting, is on the down. You can say on the decline. So that's why they throw away the wickets. But it's a different topic altogether. You would expect Lion to at least make an impact, and for some reason you can just see that he can easily be navigated. So Lion's an issue. The fast bowling resources, it's unfortunate because they spoke about Lance Morris, who was an upcoming fast bowler, but I think he's had a surgery, and there are the I was trying to read. I'm not an expert in medical term, in medical science, but they've had some screws, put into his spine, so that just some a similar surgery that Cam Green went through, and he was unable to bowl for quite some time. So that's something that their upcoming bowler Lance Morris has is going through. Jaiv Richardson, I do not know what's happening over there. Then there's Brendan Doggett, who is 32. These are their backups, but I was expecting that someone would come in for this test match. You try to get it on new pacer in and try to groom him along with your other three experienced players, but they didn't do that. Australia, they just went back to the same team. They just made a change by dropping the opener and they're playing the same side. So it just gives me the sense that, hey, this is their template. They're going to continue with this till, I think, till next Ashes, and then after that they might take a call. So they don't have, and Australia has always been of this kind of like strategy. They don't look for long term solutions. They just look for what you can say the season to season, and that's how they play it. The only time I remember they tried to do something similar was around, I think, 2013, 2010 to 2013, where suddenly they brought in Stark, Pattinson. You had even Cummins come in, and then they played 2013 Ashes with you can say not 2013 Ashes. Just before that, they played a series with all these youngsters, and it didn't work out. And then they went back to Johnson, Siddle, Ryan Harris, and then they blew up England in 2013. So and since then, they've always stuck to the most experienced side. So it's a problem. Also, the opener issue. I feel that Australia at some point of time has to go back. You pick your openers who are doing decent enough in Sheffield, getting averaging 30, 35, and stick with them rather than trying to pick up middle order batters who are averaging 40, 50 in Sheffield. I don't think anyone's averaging that much, but you don't pick a middle order batter to do the job of an opener. Those days have changed. Back in the day, you had flat batting wickets, so what would happen is even if you had this kind of like a transition, because Khwaja was a middle order batter, you pushed him to open, he still succeeded, and once he was confident enough, when the pitches changed, he still was able to deliver. So that move worked out for you completely, but you don't see that happening again and again. So now you have made a decision to stick with Renshaw. Take a call on Travis Head. Do you need him at 5 or do you need him to open? Because he did well in the Ashes, but since then he's dropped off. You are confused between your all rounder. You have Cam Green and Webster. Webster seemed to do better when they played together, so they hung around with him at 6. But they didn't want to drop Cam Green, so they pushed Travis Head from 5 to open, and now you have a spot for Cam Green. Now Cam Green is doing well as a batter. Bowling wise, I think he's good enough. But do you trust him to be a fifth bowler or you're trusting him to be a sixth bowler? Because yesterday also when they were doing good as a bowling unit, you didn't see Cam Green come in and bowl. You had Webster come in and bowl a few overs. So that's how do you want to how do you see yourself planning? Marnus is an issue for quite some time. Do they take a call and drop him and get Steve Smith to bat at 3 and have someone come in at number 4? So these are tough calls that we're watching the game to see, like, hey, what are you guys trying to do? Come on and surprise us. And they came back strong yesterday and surprised us. But the batting, I have to give credit to Bangladesh. To after being dismissed for 65 all out, to have Australia at 165 for 8 is absolutely commendable. It's absolutely commendable, and it's good. This is something I was expecting from Sri Lankan pacers at some point of time, but now the Bangladesh pacers are really looking promising. I for quite some time we were bored of seeing Bangladesh play those left arms spinners in Taijul Islam, Shakib Al Hasan. They had Abdul Razak at one point of time, and they would just play spin. Only spinners. Their bowling lineup would have just spinners. And now today you see you have a very good, exciting crop of fast bowlers. And it's let's see where this test match goes. I wish they're able to at least score 200 in the third innings so that we could have a match of this. We could see a good match. But yeah, it's for the future, the upsides of for Bangladesh look pretty promising. But for Australia, it's sad for a team that has dominated cricket, and at some point of time, you could field two teams, and your team is so strong that you would beat the rest of the world and the world level. Today, that you're struggling, your talent pool is so short that you're struggling to you know to even fill your first team. So it's
Yeah.
sad. You would want them to go out with the punch. Let's see what they have, because this core team will stick around for the 2027 World Cup also, and I hope to see them at least compete in the 2027 World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. There are also some interesting points there about the Bangladesh fast bowlers. You mentioned obviously Hassan Mahmood last match. This match, Shorful Islam making a comeback, picking up a 6 for, and that was fascinating to watch after getting bowled out for 64, keeping Australia down to 165 for 8. That's something definitely they will take a heart from, and hopefully, as you said, if they can get to 250, 300 tomorrow, we might have a game on our hand. Let's quickly move on to the next test match where Shabby is sitting. Will be the second test match between England and Pakistan at Lords. But the first test match was at Leeds, Headingley, and it wasn't a test match, to be honest. It was a mismatch because Pakistan were bundled out within 3 days. And Joe Root's captaincy stint has started inside. Second captaincy stint. He was obviously the captain in that COVID period as well, where lockdowns and everything were happening. So Ben Stokes has retired, as we all know, and they have defeated Pakistan quite easily. First innings they bowled them out for 171, and then even in the second innings, Pakistan couldn't put up much of a score. Ollie Robinson and Josh Tongue picked up 5 wicket hauls in the first innings, and interestingly, that ball was divided into half and given to both of them to celebrate. Shabby, just quickly on England. Yes, they have started well, but there have been a lot of questions over the England cricket team recently, with Baz McCallum being asked to resign, and now Stephen Fleming hasn't taken over yet. He will take over in the South Africa series, but it's a bright start. But at the same time, you expect England to win this series 3-0, considering that Pakistan aren't at their best in Test cricket at this point of time.
Yeah, yeah, a great hammering that was from England to Pakistan, and definitely, I mean, there have been some issues with the team because of the recent losses, but I don't think their team has gone into the too much transition. I think most of the players and most of the bowling attack is still the same. Definitely, the coach and the captain has changed. Stokes is no longer there, the best all-rounder which they had, who is no longer there. So I think they are also lacking a pure all-rounder right now in the team, a Sam Curran type of player or the Dash type of player. I think they have the bowlers who can bat, but definitely they are lacking a proper all-rounder in the team now in the XI. But the batting is definitely firing. Joe Root and Harry Brook, as we all already know, they are definitely the form, and they are known to perform well in the England. So that's what they'll continue. And bowling attack is also very much experienced now, made by Jofra Archer or the Tongue and Atkinson. So I think the team is not itself in the transition. Maybe the management would be in the transition, I would say. And yeah, that was proper hammering. We all know what the quality of Pakistan team is right now across the format. I should say, if I can say so. I don't know like if any format they are good at. Talking about T20s, I think they last qualified to semi-final in 2022. After that, there isn't any achievement from the T20 team as well, and tests and all. I mean, I know they are good enough at their home, which everyone is in the tests. But again, not a team or not any player that is coming into my mind right now, which is a star of the Pakistan cricket team right now. The Babar Azam and the Rizwans have been like they're gone now. I don't know like if anyone considers them in the Fab Four, Fab Five still. So yeah, I mean it was easy hammering for England, and I hope that they'll continue the same in the next two Test matches as well. Talking about, I think one more thing I just wanted to mention that the run rate that England is playing with. So Baz is gone, but the Baz ball is not yet gone. I think because I was just checking the scorecard. They scored 400 odd runs in just 90 overs. So that's why the match also got finished within 2 or 2.5 days. I think so. I think they are still continuing the attacking pace with which they are batting in, and not sure how long they will continue this, but currently it's still in their blood.
Absolutely, I think that you can't kill that idea, right? That was a saying there. Kevin, you asked a question on the group yesterday. Just quickly on that bowling, England bowling lineup. Which bowling lineup is more exciting to watch, England or South Africa? England is preparing a battery of fast bowlers. It seems whether it's Jofra Archer, you have Robinson who can move the ball up front. Josh Tongue comes with his attributes as well. Awkward angle, 90 miles per hour, and then you have Gus Atkinson who has done well. Braden Cast is someone who is not playing, but he has done well for England in the past as well. And then Matt Potts and all those guys as well. Sunny Baker is an upcoming fast bowler. He did play, I think, in that second test against New Zealand, if I'm not wrong, made his debut. But yeah, how do you see this bowling lineup? Can they, because they go to South Africa after this, I think. Can they create some impact in South Africa, because they have the attributes? I think Robinson will move the ball, and you have Tongue and Archer with the pace, and even Atkinson has some decent pace there.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, and because I've been excited about England's bowling for quite some time, and I thought that uh, they would make an impact in 2021. Didn't happen. 2023 in the Ashes in England, you had Wokes and Tongue.
Wood,
They did
Wood,
well. Yeah,
Wood
but
as
you
well.
you had I think you started with Wood. You started
Yeah,
with Tongue first, and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
you went to Wood, and then Wood and Wokes changed the entire
Correct, correct.
outlook of that
Yeah.
series. So I've been watching these guys, and I'm really happy that it clicked now. And Ollie Robinson has been the surprise because he just fizzled out. He made an impact in 2021 against India in that series at home, and after that, fitness was an issue. And now also he's late 120s, early 130s. But because he has Gus Atkinson to come in as the first change, and you have Josh Tongue as the second change bowler, it makes that entire bowling lineup look pretty exciting. Now their main concern is the spinner. I don't think they played a spinner in the last Test match,
They didn't. They didn't. I think that
and
Stokes issue. That's to because there's no Stokes. It's difficult for them to balance the side. So they are going in with that extra batter at number seven. I mean, Dan Lawrence batted six, and Jamie Smith went
yep.
back to number seven. So that's why they are not able to play a spinner. I guess 8, 9, 10, 11 are pacers.
Yes, and I think Dan Lawrence bowls a bit of spin, but
Yeah,
at Joe Root, it all comes down to the flexibility and versatility that Joe Root offers to this England team. And if they needed a spinner, he would have come and bowled in. And he's that one player. I love watching England play is because of Joe Root, because of how well he's adapted to the style of cricket that England wants to play, and now he's captain again. You know, I he's someone whom I don't think he wanted or demands a captaincy as much as other players do, but he's been very unlucky. He's led some teams, English teams, which were not that good, and I'm happy that when they transition went to Pakistan, they completely steamrolled. And it's a good thing that England did also. Normally, you would have expected the captaincy to go to Harry Brook, but I feel Harry Brook is he's a bit young, and young kids make mistakes, and they can be pretty, what you can say, is brash. So it's good that in this kind of like transition phase, they've gone back to someone who's much more calm and cool in Joe Root. I'm very excited to see. I was looking and searching in the news, when is the next South African Test series, because I think it's been quite some time since South Africa actually played a Test match. I don't remember after. You can say is after the WTC, if they played anything like any big series, because I don't have any information on that. But I want to see that. I want to see
I
South
think
Africa.
they played versus India, right?
yeah. They,
They,
they
They
defeated
came
India.
home, yes,
Yeah,
but
2-0.
nothing. They didn't play. No home series.
No,
There was no
I
home
don't think they
series.
haven't played a home series yet.
Yeah, because I'm looking forward to that. Saying, hey, where does Aiden Markram bowl? Oh, sorry, where does Aiden Markram bat?
Yeah.
Ryan Rickelton. They have Ryan Rickelton, who seems pretty exciting. I don't know Quentin de Kock. I don't think he's playing Test. I think
I
he's
don't think he's playing
only.
Test. Rickelton, Stubbs is playing definitely in that middle order. They
So you
have,
have Stubbs over there. You have Janssen. I think Corbin Bosch also plays
yeah,
Test. So
Bahuma
and you have,
will obviously be there, and Kyle Varane
yeah.
is their keeper.
So yeah, there is something exciting happening over there in South Africa and England, and it's good that we have a next Test series between South Africa and England, because that gives context, to what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm very what you can say is positive. They've seen some positive signs. Dan Lawrence was someone whom I was excited about. I think when England came here in 2021, I think
Correct.
he was one player who showed that he could play a bit of spin. So it's good to see that they've gone back to him now, and he did well. He got a 50. But yeah, let's see. You don't want to get too excited with England, because they start off with a bang, and then they always fizzle out.
Yeah, they did win the first test against New Zealand as well, and then obviously we all know what happened. They were not playing serious cricket by the end of that series, where Stokes left, Baz left, and everybody left. Baz ball died, is what Michael Atherton said on air. But moving on to the main test series as well, which is going on in Sri Lanka. India have taken a 1-0 lead in the first test match as they win the first test by 165 runs. And guess what? The second test starts tomorrow. Not much of a break, I guess, just 3 day break, and it was a 5 day test match because of the rain and everything. But let's talk about the positive points for India. And Shavi, there can't be a more positive thing than India probably finding a long-term solution for number three. I will get into that discussion. What happens when Sai Sudarshan is back? Because that was a fantastic knock. 167 in the first innings, and again he looked comfortable in the second innings as well. 44 when India were trying to score quickly to set up a target, and I think because of his height, he can go back and front against spin. Plays a lot of the back foot as well, and then when he wants to reach to the pitch of the ball, he has that height too. Abby, how impressed were you? And do you think he is a better solution to Sai Sudarshan? Yes, just one test match. I know DDP has played a couple of tests before, but those were one off in varying conditions, one in Perth and one in Dharamshala against England. But this, he has another test match. If he impresses there as well, I think they should lock in him for the number three spot. What do you think, Shabby?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely good inning, trademark inning. I would say 167. We can call it as Daddy 100, and he was set for 200 as well. And definitely that 100 did make a huge difference in the first innings total. But to be very honest, I mean, I'm not getting too excited about this one innings because that came against Sri Lanka, which is, I mean, not a great bowling attack these days, and I don't think that we should say that we have found a replacement and we have like properly found a long-term player. I mean, maybe Sai Roshan also could have done well in this test if he had been fit. So don't forget that Sai Roshan played his initial matches in the England, like he debuted in England, if I remember correctly, right? So
Yeah.
his start was definitely challenging, and then he like matured as a player, and maybe he had few off games as well. DDP definitely looking good, but again we need to test him in New Zealand. I think that's the next series that we have, and let's see. He will definitely get a chance first before Sai Sudarshan in the New Zealand. So let's see what he does there, and if we get another century there, then maybe we can say a bit firmly that we have found a good long-term solution to number three problem. So I think I'll wait my comments there on this DDP right now, but definitely nothing takes away from him that the knock that he played in the current match, and let's hope he does well in the next match as well.
Amrit, your thoughts on this whole discussion, because Shabby does mention, which I agree, that he did start in England, but he got his opportunities in India as well. He played those couple of tests against West Indies. He played in the test against Afghanistan, and he did score some runs. He scored 80 odd runs in the Afghanistan test and in the West Indies test as well. But there wasn't that daddy 100 which we are talking about. And when you talk about taking up an opportunity, I think DDP has done that. As Shabby says, probably yes, we have to see him in different conditions, then take a call. But at this point, I think he deserves a place above Sai Sudarshan as and when Sai Sudarshan is fit.
Definitely, I would say for the time being, Padikkal has cemented his place, and we should definitely be considering him for the next series, which is in New Zealand. Uh, Again, Sai Sudarshan, he hasn't really, scored a big, 100 or so in the chances that he got in England, where lot of the batsmen did really well. Uh, Padikkal, in the limited opportunities that he has got, he has done really well. He has demonstrated that his particular skill set, fitted that particular conditions at Gaul. So I would say for the time being, we should definitely, back Padikkal. Sai Sudarshan, again, let's see. He can still be there in the scheme of things, but maybe Sai Sudarshan as an opener, who knows?
Interesting point of thought there. But I think at this moment we have a settled opener, at least for the next 2 to 3 years till KL Rahul is there. And Jaiswal obviously is a long term prospect. Kevin, coming to the spinners, and I think I remember we had this discussion a while ago that India doesn't have that red ball spinners in them after Ashwin and Jadeja. But make no mistake, there's a young man coming in, and what a bowler! He just looks fantastic, old school in his approach, relies on drift and turn. Obviously, his accuracy is right there, and the number of wickets he has picked in the first two test matches. First test against Afghanistan picked up a 5 wicket haul. This match picked up 10 wickets. I think 17 wickets now in two matches, and it's just fantastic to watch him bowl. I get a bit of Pragyan Oja kind of bowling there. Obviously, Pragyan Oja didn't play many tests, 24 tests if I'm not wrong. Pragyan Oja style of bowling. Well, Jadeja is still a bit different. He relies on accuracy and that odd ball which turns. But Mano Sutar, drift, and there's a lot of other stuff as well involved. And it's old school. Defeats the batter in the flight. How do you look at him? He's just 24. I just hope that he keeps bowling well in red ball cricket because these days with white ball, even a Washington Sundar probably they lose their skill of flighting the ball in test match cricket. Then if once they start playing white ball cricket, so how do you look at it, Kevin, with Mano Sutar?
Pretty exciting, and it's just good. Like you have a new spinner coming in and putting pressure on Ravindra Jadeja. You had Akshar Patel come in, and Akshar Patel is out. Jadeja is still constant. But whatever I saw of Manav Sutar, I was very impressed because I don't think he got wickets because of the pitch. He got wickets because of his you can say his street smartness, his ability to flight, his variations. Pretty good, very impressive. And I'm curious to know now when you go to New Zealand, what are you going to do? Are you going to play this game again saying, hey, we need someone who can bat and bowl and go back to Jadeja? Or you say, hey, this guy is in form and we need someone who can be attacking and let's go with Manu Sutar as the number one spinner. So it makes it tough for the selectors. And with Indian cricket, whatever decision you make, you're bound to get criticism. But very he seemed like the a clone, a left arm clone of Ashwin, the way he played. So I was very impressed with whatever he did in that first test match against Sri Lanka. And I just want to making a point with this Sai Sudarshan Padikal discussion. I feel you know the 100 that Padikal scored. I think it gives you an excuse to back him for at least 1 year or for an entire season, because he's been getting runs in domestic. The only reason that Padikal has not been around the Indian team is because he had a poor IPL record, in my opinion. A guy who's averaging 74 in list A, and I think in first class he has an average of 44. Should have been considered at some point in time. And I think he got his chance in 24. They didn't. He wasn't consistently backed. He was the first, I think, option when there was a number three spot open in Australia 24, where he came and I think got a 21 ball duck, and then he hung around for another few balls, got a 10, 20. I don't remember the number of runs he got there, but he seems like someone who is much more confident and positive and has the game to hang in there at number three. So at least now for New Zealand, I'm of the opinion that you have to back Padikkal, and I don't see Jurel being displaced from the number six position as of now. As you could have considered, getting in Sai Sudarshan and three and pushing Padikkal to five, six, something like that. But I think India will prefer now to stick with this batting lineup with Padikkal at three. It's unfortunate for Sai Sudarshan, but I also feel that hey, he got his opportunity because of IPL, because of the runs and the solidity with which he scored in IPL. That is the reason that he was you can say he jumped the queue basically. So now someone who's done well in red ball cricket, Padikkal, who has the numbers in list A, who has the numbers in first class. I think he needs to be backed, and I think the selectors will do that because they're using now domestic form and numbers to back selections. So, so yeah, that settles the particular debate for me. New Zealand, I think, will be interesting. Green pitches, hopefully, hoping the ball is swinging, so you are able to test the skill of the batters. And let's see. I think this is India's best chance of winning in New Zealand, honestly, because New Zealand although you can say New Zealand cricket, India's fast bowling is not that great, but New Zealand's team is also on the decline. So this could be possibly, like India, even though we're not used to these conditions, but we have the better talent pool to select from. So maybe, and if Bangladesh has, we didn't bring it up, but Bangladesh won against New Zealand in New Zealand.
They did 1-1, right? The two match
Yes,
series was 1-1. Yeah.
yes, they did win one last year. So I think India can definitely beat. The only player whom I feel India should be careful of is Rook. I think that guy has like he's got pace and he comes in with that awkward angle. He was the one who made that difference in that first Test match back in I think 24. He was
At
that
home.
difference at all.
Yeah.
Yep. Although Henry got the wickets, but I think he was the one who got the big wickets with that awkward angle and height. So let's see.
Yeah, I agree with Shabby there. Kevin definitely jinxing India's chances of winning even a single test in New Zealand. That's some time away. We'll get there. But Shabby, let's talk about your favorite player. And we have to make a special mention here. 4,000 test runs and 350 test wickets. This is a club of just four all-rounders. I'll list the names here. Kapil Dev, Ian Botham, Daniel Vittori, and now add the name of Mr. Ravindra Jadeja. I think Ravindra Jadeja is one of the best all-rounders to have ever played for India. I think it doesn't get the credit because the numbers are insane. Over the last 3, 4, 5 years, whatever he's doing with the bat and with the ball, he always averages below 25, 26, 27, below 27. He has done it all. He's 37, if I'm not wrong now, Shabby. He's definitely playing till the end of this WTC cycle. But I calculated that gets him to 98 tests. And it would be a sad ending if he doesn't play 100 tests. He deserves more than anybody else. But just on this achievement, Shabby, does he have it in him to get to 5,000 test runs and 400 test wickets? Or is that too much to ask for considering his age? But that would be a commendable achievement if he gets there. But even this achievement is fantastic. Just four in this list, as I said.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, the two words I have for him is immortal and irreplaceable. May it be any conditions, may it be any place that we are playing in, he is there in the test squad. He was part of ODI squad as well for a long time, but since last year we know that because of one man we are having suddenly a lot of transitions. But I'm very happy that in the test squad he still have that value, he still have that the respect that he should have, and he is deserving right now. I think Jadeja has started gaining more recognition and more respect after departure of Ashwin. I think because now he's like number one most experienced bowler in the Test squad. So now the people are recognizing him. And when you ask about the next things, I mean, I don't see anything that can stop him playing even after next WTC, except for the man that we have at the helm. Uh,
Gambhir's contract is till 2027 ODI World Cup. So after that, he's definitely
yeah,
not there.
correct, correct. So, I mean, there is nothing. I mean, there is no issues with the fitness, right? I mean, I don't see any issues with the Jadeja's fitness as of now. In terms of batting or bowling, he can do both. Fielding, as we already know, he is like one of the class apart. So maybe that will slow down a bit as he reaches 39, 40, maybe. But he can play for maybe 3 or 4 more years because in the Test squad we are seeing the experiences being valued in the other teams as well. Just take an example of Bangladesh. The Mushfiqur Rahim is also immortal. He's playing at 39 age.
39.
He's 39 exactly. So I mean, in Test squads all around the world, I think the age doesn't matter a lot if the guy is fit enough, and he if he has the support of the management, and also there is no one to replace his place, then uh, the people can continue playing in the Test squad even after 40. I think so. I hope that he achieves that 100 test mark within next year. And talking about that 5,000 run mark and the 400 wickets mark, I think that is also not far if he plays for 2 more years, I think. So
Yeah,
I
right now
hope he achieves that.
4,100 runs. I think 4,100 to be exact. Let's just check it real quick. But yeah, around 900 more runs in 2 years,
Yeah.
definitely possible.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, there is no doubt that he will be there till the next, till the current cycle, like the BGT, which is coming up next year. After that, he will eventually have the WTC final, which we are not sure whether we are playing or not. But after that, the series that we would be having, I think he should be getting chances in that cycle as well, at least for 2 more years maybe. And let's see what lies ahead, what form he comes up with, what bowling form and the batting form both he continues with. Uh, we all know, like, in bowling, he's not that level of Jadeja which we were known to when he used to bowl with Ashwin, but he still has his class, and when the pitch supports, he is still very much lethal bowler, I think. So I think he will continue with that. But talking about batting terms, I think, as I just typed on the chat as well, that Jadeja can play in a test squad just as a pure batter as well, because that level of consistency he has shown since last year. And I think he got 200s in the England last year, so that is recent record is also pretty much solid. So I mean, just as a way he has transformed his batting in all the conditions, I think that's basically allowing him to prolong his career and just testifies his longevity a lot. So that thing I'm pretty much a fan right now. Talking about Jadeja, so that the way he has transformed his cricket, like just as a known just to be for a fielding initial days, then just talking about the bowling achievements that he had with Ashwin, and then now we eventually coming to know as the reliable batter in the test squad. I think that transition has been really liking for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Shabby there. Whenever the pitch is still helpful, he does make an impact. Whether I remember the last year against South Africa first test, Kolkata, the pitch was turning square. He picked up 4 wickets in that first innings, and with the bat, obviously he's right up there, as you said. Runs in England, 100 against West Indies, and he's scoring runs whenever he gets an opportunity. So Jadeja is right up there. Amrit, the only question which India would have for the second test match, which starts tomorrow morning, is Kuldeep Yadav, because he looked off color in both the innings. And there is a thought process. You have sent in a reel from Shubhayan Chakravarti, who is a journalist at Rev Sports, saying that Saran Jain, the off spinner, could be picked ahead of Kuldeep Yadav, because Sri Lanka have quite a few left-handers, and the person who scored runs, Sonal Dinusha, obviously, Kamindu Mendes, another left-hander, and there are a few more as well in that lineup. So, uh, do you think Kuldeep Yadav should be dropped? I think he has a fantastic test record. Yes, he looked off color in both the innings. He wasn't bowled as much as the other two spinners, but he should get an opportunity, one more opportunity, because you see, even in the ODI formats, they're keeping him on the bench. T20Is, obviously, Chakravarti took his place. It's just a bit of a strange time for Kuldeep Yadav. He is hardly played, and I was checking his record. He's played only 19 tests, and he made his debut in 2017 in that Dharamshala test match against Australia. So that's 9 years, almost 10 years, and 19 test matches. And he did well against England in India. He has had his moments. His average is 22 bowling average. So he has good numbers. He should get another opportunity, I think, especially considering that we are 1-0 up in the series.
Yeah, Kuldeep, he hasn't really been given that much of an opportunity to play in tests over the last few years. Away, he is not part of the 11. You have been considering Ashwin and Jadeja. At home, you went ahead with Akshar as the third spinner, to strengthen your batting. So, very sporadic, cases where he did get an opportunity. And again, Test cricket is something which I would say a bowler gains confidence, as he plays through his career. Given that, he should definitely be backed a bit more. He does give India, another option apart from both Jadeja and Suthar. They are, left arm orthodox spinners. Kuldeep gives you the wrist spin option, more variation in angle, turn, and trajectory. So yeah, he has been bowling well, but probably he needs to be back for a bit more time before he starts getting you those key wickets. But yeah, at the other side, I think if you look at matchups, probably Saransh Jain, he could be good against the left-handed batsman. So that is a thing which probably the team management will have to consider given the uh, how the Sri Lanka team forms up tomorrow.
Kevin, your thoughts on this because you have been a huge backer of Kuldeep Yadav, but what do you think on this? Saran Chain hasn't played a test match for India, obviously, will make his debut if he gets that opportunity. Do you think that the left-handers should be a consideration here and Saran Chain should play ahead of Kuldeep Yadav?
So I think about it this way: Did we win the match? Did we win the first test match? If yes, then why do we want to change the side? Why do you want to get someone in who's, I think, 32 into the test match setup? And if he does well, then what do you do? Then do you persist with him, or do you say, oh no, the opposition was pretty weak, we were supposed to win this game, these performances have no impact? What is the long term plan? you know my personal opinion on Kuldeep Yadav is, I think, it's unfortunate, but he's looking like the third or fourth best spinner that we have. you know and I don't remember, like, there was a time when you had three wrist spinners rule the entire, you can say, the bowling. uh, they ruled the entire, you can say, the 2000s. You had one, I count Murli as a wrist spinner, and you had Kumble, 700, 800, and 600 wickets. Okay, and they ruled it because at that time you played on flat batting wickets. Test
True.
matches would go 5 days. You needed someone, you can bowl four bad balls, but if you get one good ball, you get the wicket. You wanted that kind of, like, bowlers. Now what has happened is you've gone towards bowling friendly wickets. You want more control. So you see, after Yasir Shah, no leg spinner has been able to, in my opinion, may even reach to 150, 200 test wickets. So
Yeah.
the wrist spinner has been completely out of the test setup. Kuldeep Yadav came in, he did well because he brought in that, he brought in that X factor. He was the only Chinaman around that time who shot up only because of the success that Brad Hogg happened to have, with KKR or with Perth Scorchers. And he came back, Brad Hogg, he came back to the Australian T20 side at the age of 40. So you saw his success. You felt, hey, maybe we need an X factor. You brought in Kuldeep Yadav. Looking at Kuldeep Yadav, you had other teams bring in Tabraiz Shamsi. I think, I don't know if Pakistan had their own wrist spinner, but you started seeing a bit of,
I think
you
Sri
can
Lanka had
say.
their one, Lakshan Sandakan.
Yes, you had Lakshan Sandakan. So, and now suddenly all of them are out of the game as well. So, with Kuldeep, it's unfortunate. The only time he got a consistent run, I think, was with Rohit Sharma and Rahul Dravid
Yeah, in that
leading.
England home series, yeah, 2024, yeah.
Yes. Yes, and the problem is now, if I play someone like Kuldeep Yadav in Sri Lanka, I do not see him bowling six good balls. If someone like a Jadeja or Manav Sutar bowls six good balls, you feel that, oh, you can at least get two wickets in that over. But with Kuldeep Yadav, you don't see that, because what's going to happen is either he'll hit the pad, or he'll have a dot ball. But a bad ball is definitely going for runs. So that's something that the Indian team would not like to have. So it's unfortunate for Kuldeep, but I don't see him, like, until and unless you're playing on a flat wicket and you need someone to produce some magic out of the blue, that's when you will have Kuldeep Yadav play. But if you're seeing bowling friendly wickets, I don't see you need someone like him. That's where you're going to go to someone like, uh, an off spinner, or a left arm spinner. So it's unfortunate. So for Kuldeep Yadav, that his test career never took off, but whatever he did, we're happy with it. So yeah, it's unfortunate. For me personally, I would prefer that they back the same team. You won in Sri Lanka with the same side. I think you should persist with it. Give him one more chance. Let him, because if a new guy comes in and he doesn't do well, there's no doubt India is going to win the test match. It's not good that they're going to lose it because they made a change, but still, just for the players' confidence, and also because the selection of Saransh Jain is only because I think Sundar is not available.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So you don't see this guy playing further for India also. So that's why, if you the player who's coming in is not going to be putting pressure on any of the current team. It doesn't make sense to just cause more chaos and commotion to Indian cricket. So might as well stick with Kuldeep Yadav. Give him a chance. Who knows if he does well? We could consider him to play in New Zealand as an X factor bowler. But besides that, I'll be disappointed if they go to Sarangi.
Interesting points. Their SSC Colombo is the venue for the second test match. Experts are suggesting to expect a flat wicket. So, as Kevin says, if it's a flat wicket, they should persist with Kuldeep Yadav, and just makes more sense because you don't want to change a winning combination. Second test starts tomorrow morning. Just quick prediction, Shabby. Because Sri Lanka are depleted further. Dinesh Chandimal, who suffered a concussion, is missing the second test, and Kusal Mendis and Pathum Nissanka are still not fit for the second test, is what I'm assuming. So, what do you think? Should India be strong enough to do it 2-0?
Yeah, surely. I mean, I had my prediction in the last podcast as well, 2-0, I think, and I think India is well on course for that. And in Sri Lanka team getting more injuries, I mean, making it worse for them, I think. So India should win it definitely.
Amrit, 2-0 by the end of the test match.
Yeah, definitely. Flat wicket, I would say India scoring at a good pace in the first innings, and probably Pant getting 100 in either the first or second innings.
Pant did have a good second innings, 66, quick fire 66. Jurel had a good innings as well in the first innings, 51. So yeah, almost everybody contributed apart from Jaiswal and Gill, and I'm hoping Jaiswal gets a big one. He has
Jaiswal needs some, I think. He
he
needs some
needs
runs.
sorry he needs some runs. Yeah,
Jaiswal
exactly.
needs some, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Kevin, 2-0 before I end the stream, I also have another question for you, but just quickly on this 2-0, you think?
Yeah, of course. I predicted 2-0 because I said that there's no way this team can lose to Sri Lanka, honestly. So yeah,
So,
2-0.
yeah, Kevin, a question for you. I'll read out the stats of a player. You'll guess that player pretty quickly. 107 Test matches, 441 wickets, and he picked up 6 for 12 yesterday in 10 overs. Mitchell Stark, I'm talking about. Does he have it in him to get to 500 Test wickets? Is my question. 59 more wickets.
I
Do
think
you
yes. I think he has that hunger in him. It's a little difficult for me to also predict because what happens is Australia, and I've noticed this with Cummins, and my biggest criticism with Cummins is, whenever I see Stark doing well, and I wish that Stark goes, bowls a bit more, somehow, Cummins just takes him off the attack and gives him a rest, and then Cummins chips in with the low order wickets. So it's a little tough and challenging for me to say, but I'm very happy and proud of Mitchell Stark. I've always been a fan of him. Since the time they've called him the Johnson clone in 2010 when he made his debut and went wicketless, and after that disappeared. Then they brought him back in 2013, and he did well on and off. But at 2015, pre World Cup, when Shane Warne called him that he's soft, after that, he's been one of those players born to play white ball cricket, but stubborn and adamant to still persist playing test match cricket. And I felt that Mohammad Amir was one left arm pacer whom I was looking forward to watch. But uh, after Stark, I don't see any left arm pacers play in.
in
It's
Test cricket?
unfortunate in
Yeah.
Test cricket
Jansen is
especially.
the only one, but Jansen is just overcooked. I think he plays everything at this point of time.
Mm.
Yes, yes, and someone who can bowl 140, even 135 is fine, but who can swing the ball, a left arm pacer who can come and swing, and he's gifted, tall, long, very few injuries. He knows how to take care of his body, but he's proved to be one of the greats, and the way he comes back after getting a beating is completely commendable. Back in the day, Cummins would use him as just for 3 overs. Now you started to see him bowl 5, 6 overs, spells, which is really good for the game as well. And the Ashes, I think, completely changed. With the last Ashes that he played, because if you see him, he was always around 20, 21 wickets. He would be like the second or third best pacer for Australia. But the way he took on responsibility last year and the way he is delivered, I'm very proud. Like to, he they call they the Indian commentators and experts always call him the runaway bride. of the IPL.
The IPL, yeah.
But whenever he puts on those whites, he just delivers. He just finds a way to keep performing, and it's great that whatever he's done. And uh, the sport and Australian cricket will miss him for sure, because I don't see them. They might get a backup to Cummins, Hazelwood, but Stark, I don't think so. I don't see anyone coming up.
Yeah, what Kevin says makes a lot of sense. He missed the IPL in those his prime years for such a long time, and then obviously he retired from T20 internationals as well when he could have easily played the last T20 World Cup. He's fit. He could have done that, but he opted out of T20 internationals to focus on red ball cricket. So 59 wickets away from 500 Test wickets. Anderson and Broad were the last two fast bowlers to do that. I do not know if anybody else will get there. Kagiso Rabada is somebody I'm looking at who could potentially get there. Cummins and Hazelwood, I don't think so will get there. But Rabada, if he gets there, will be the last fast bowler in Test cricket to get to 500 Test wickets. Shabby, just real quick. Yes. Do you have anybody else in mind? Or
I just saw Mitchell Stark's interview today after today's heroic, and the interview was taken by his wife,
oh yeah, yeah.
who enjoyed the broadcasting. So I just realized the Mitchell Stark and Jasprit Bumrah, only two of the privileged guys in the world cricket who have this privilege of interviews being taken by wives. So what a great.
Absolutely. Amrit, your just quick thoughts. 559 wickets left. If you
Looks
play till the end of Ashes, do you have a chance there?
Yeah, I think 59, I guess another 59 wickets left for 500, right? So
Correct.
let's see. Let's see. I'm hopeful, but depends upon his appetite for cricket at in the next 2 years. His wife has also retired from cricket, so he might also want to take a break and just relax.
Will Australia play WTC final is what Kevin is asking. Potentially, yes, they have a good run there. If they can win the home series against New Zealand and probably a test or two in South Africa, then they can win a test in BGT as well, considering India's home form. you They might win that series as well. You never know. And Gigi might have to resign, but that's for another
No,
day.
no, that's not happening. India's not losing. India's not losing
But
against
even
this Aussie batting lineup. This Aussie batting lineup is not good enough.
even if India beats Australia in BGT, even then I think Australia would have a chance. Like if
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah. Australia have
can,
a good run because they won the Ashes
they are the
4-1.
top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have won the West Indies away series 3-0. They will most probably make this series 1-1. If they win the series against New Zealand at home and win a few tests in South Africa and in India, they should be fine to get to the WTC. I think it's between India, South Africa, and New Zealand at this point of time. India need
agreed.
a lot of things to go their way. Obviously, win 6 or 7 out of the 6 of the remaining 8 now that they have won the first, and then hope for some other results to go their way as well. So yeah, New Zealand and South Africa are the front runners. Obviously, England and Pakistan and those teams are out of contention, considering they lost 12 points to just slow over
But
rates. So yeah, that's it for today. Test cricket going on in full flow. Bangladesh playing Australia for the second test. England will play Pakistan for the second test in Lords, and India play Sri Lanka for in the second test at SSC Colombo, Sinhalese Sports Club. We will be back once those tests are over, probably next week or maybe a week after that, and we will discuss what all happens and whether Star gets even more closer to 500 test wickets. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Amrit. Thank you, Shabby, for joining on this stream. Do like, share, and subscribe to Cricket Adda.